Hello and welcome to episode 65 of the Nerds at Large Gaming Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Darby Hallman.
I'm Jeff Mayo.
And joined once again,
I'm Jacob Hamill.
it's Jacob Hamill, back-to-back weeks.
First time ever, maybe, I don't know.
Crazy.
Yeah, I can't keep track of all this, but he's probably like approaching Will because Will like never comes on here.
Come on, Will. You're taking your job.
Yeah. This very high-paying job. Well, we have a lot of things, really exciting things to talk about. First of all, I am absolutely ready to become a Cyberman. I'm ready to take out all of my human fleshy limbs and become a cyberpunk man because I'm really ready for Cyberpunk 2077. And we will be talking about Cyberpunk extensively, probably at the end of this podcast, so stay tuned for that. And lots of other good stuff.
Yes.
But first off, have y'all been playing anything interesting? I know it hasn't been that much time, but
I've been playing a lot of Danganronpa too.
There you go.
how does it compare to 1? Because you talked about 1 last week.
Yeah, liking it a lot. There are definitely some improvements. The cases are more out there in ways and harder to figure out. The cases are harder to do. Like in 1, I got A's on all of them. I'm getting straight B's on these. Messing up more. Though I'll say part of it is one of the particular like mini game things you do.
Yeah, so it was like or at least one of them was like a rhythm game last game. Or
Yeah,
like
that's it in there. They added.
Are they just adding in a bunch of other like random things?
Yeah, I guess I'll also say this if it's not obvious. Danganronpa, I can already tell the series it benefits you to play them all in order and not like skip exactly to one thing.
Okay.
Because it's not like they switch out mechanics; they just add on to mechanics from the previous game, or kind of remix them slightly and add more stuff.
Okay.
I like that.
Yeah, and they start out instantly harder. Like in the first game when you're doing like bullet time or whatever, when you're listening to people's things and you're supposed to shoot like a evidence thing to it to kind of like here's the lie or something. First game they start out like 1 or 3 bullets. In this game they like instantly like 5. So you gotta switch like, okay, which one's the evidence and which one do I shoot? They also added truths in there where you gotta use a bullet and you shoot the truth to like be like, oh, I agree with that and this is why. So it adding a lot more dynamics so it'd be easier to go into it.
Okay, it sounds like it kind of expects that you already have the skills.
Yeah, and from a story standpoint, they take little jabs at the previous game and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's cool.
Yep. And yeah, like I said, well, them 1 mini game's kind of annoying. It's like called Hangman something where you're supposed to fill out the letters. You're supposed to put the letters in an order. You don't have any of the letters whatsoever. In the first game, it was just 1 word, and it was a lot easier to figure out what the word was supposed to be. Now it's like multiple words, and it's less obvious what it's supposed to be.
Oh yeah.
And the way it is, the letters are going like down and up and all that stuff, and side to side or whatever.
Oh,
and you're supposed to grab one, put it on another one of the same letter, then click on the letter again to use it, while at the same time making sure opposite letters don't hit each other, because then you take damage.
Oh yeah. Well, it's interesting. I usually think of like a sequel of a game, they'll add on new mechanics or refine the ones before, but you don't really normally think of a sequel as like we're taking these same mechanics but just making it harder because we're assuming you already know them. I feel like so many sequels kind of to their detriment just act like it has to be a welcoming for everyone. It has to be a starting point for everyone, but it's kind of cool. It sounds like it's something where it's like, no, we know you play, or we're assuming you play the first one, so this is just like...
Yeah, and from a story thing, I imagine you'll be even more confused in a way if you hadn't played it. Though in some ways, I'm confused because I have played the first one. It's weird.
Well, yeah, and that's good, especially with the nature of these games, because I assume you don't want to be bored for half of the sequel because it's just too easy.
Right.
I guess the whole thing of making sure you play the previous game makes more sense because it's a visual novel, so it's like reading Game of Thrones and going in.
Yeah, it would be
not as extreme as that necessarily, but
right. And is it a different school or is it the same school? It just keeps going.
It's the same school, but instead of being locked in the school, they're on an island.
Okay. I knew one of them went to an island. I didn't know which one.
Yeah. So it's also kind of cool. So, you're not stuck at the same location.
No,
and everything's completely different.
There's some beach tropes.
Yeah.
Has there been beach volleyball yet?
No.
Okay, that's...
the beach scene, of course, but then I immediately got destroyed.
Okay.
No,
Well,
their happiness got ruined.
Jacob, you been playing anything interesting?
Yep, I've been playing Yakuza Kiwami 2, which came out on Tuesday. It's a lot of fun. This is the first game that I've played that is using the new engine that they started with for 6. And so it looks really nice. Unfortunately, the downside is that where 0 and Kiwami, they ran at 60 frames per second. This runs at 30 frames per second.
Okay.
Which,
that's weird that Kiwami ran...
I guess because of the upgraded visuals.
Yeah, because they used the old engine, which was like PS3. It was a nice looking PS3 era game.
Right.
And this is like a full on made for PS4 game.
Okay. Yeah.
And the gameplay, the only kind of issue I had in the beginning was that Kiryu kind of felt like controlling a refrigerator on wheels. But I kind of got used to it. It's just kind of he just feels a little bulky and you brush by a bench and it just explodes when he touches it.
Oh my god.
Because there's a lot of ragdoll and physics and stuff, which is nice and hilarious at the same time.
Right.
You can throw a guy into a bicycle, and the bicycle will shoot up in the air and land on his face.
Nice.
Of course. Physics.
Yeah.
It's physics.
Oh yeah,
It's just normal physics.
There's some goofy stuff, but it's a nice time. The story is really well done. I think it's a much more tight crime drama, I think, compared to 0 or some of the later games.
Okay.
Where it becomes more kind of a slice of life sort of thing and a crazy plot. But this feels very driven in story.
That's cool. It's cool. And that's it was only... I keep having the misconception that the Yakuzas take place in a bunch of different time periods or whatever, but it was really just the 0, right?
Yeah.
Is the only one that
Yeah, this one's 2000, I guess 6 or 7.
Okay.
Something around that time. And the mini games, there's a ton of mini games you can play. You can play Virtua Fighter 2 in this game.
The actual game.
The actual game.
That's cool. That's awesome.
So I want to see tournaments where this is the best version, and they bring out Yakuza Kiwami 2 just to play Virtua Fighter.
Nice.
That's awesome. I love when there's actual games inside of games.
Oh yeah, because these games, they tend to have some pretty large mini games that have a subplot tied to them. And so they brought back the Cabaret Manager minigame from 0, which I really enjoyed. And they also have a Clan Creator game, which is pretty much a tower defense minigame just baked into this. And it looks pretty in depth. But I don't have too much interest in tower defense games.
Yeah, I'm not. It's definitely not my thing. I'm pretty bad at them.
But I'm sure if you enjoy that genre, then this would be really cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. There's actually I thought about it as a weird thing, but there's actually I can think of there's several games I can think of that do that. In Stardew Valley, there's an entire section of the bar where there's a bunch of different arcade cabinets where basically there was one guy made Stardew Valley. He made a bunch of other little games that you can play in Stardew Valley. And it's just really cool. You go to the bar and it's you're actually sitting there playing this arcade. Yeah, and it was cool. And I think the guy talked about how it was he just got really bored making Stardew Valley and wanted to make something else, so he made these other tiny things. He was like, I guess I could just put them in there.
Pretty cool. Yeah, and I know I didn't play 6, but I know 6, a lot of people were unhappy with it because it cut out a lot of stuff because they were essentially starting from square one. Right. And this game has a lot of content compared to that, and I'm not disappointed with it at all.
Cool.
As far as content goes.
Cool. One day, okay. And if you want to hear more about Jacob's thoughts about Yakuza, you can go a few episodes back. We talked about it kind of extensively and about where you should start with Yakuza if you're a newbie and all that good stuff. Me, I play a little bit more Octopath Traveler, who cares? But the biggest thing is I've actually this whole weekend, or since last night and then a lot of today, I've gotten back into Divinity Original Sin 2.
Nice.
And I'm kind of why did I ever stop playing this game? It was one of those I just played so heavily I had to stop for a while and play some other things. But seriously, that is, if you want an RP and the open world RPG type thing where you really can make any decision you want to make at any time, it's there's no better than that, because it this game does not hold your hand whatsoever to a crazy degree, and it's basically like playing a D&D campaign. The
Okay.
combat. I don't know. Have you ever played?
I've seen like videos of it.
Okay. The combat's really, really cool just because there's so much you can do. It's turn-based type of thing, but you're like strategically like you're moving your like 4 characters around.
Like an SRG.
Yeah, but
RPG, yeah.
you can do things like you can put oil on the ground and then get your mage to like light it with fire, and you light everyone up. But you also have to make sure your guys aren't in the way of it, so that they can get burnt too.
Right.
And you can if an enemy, a lot of times what I'll do is I don't really have fire moves like that, but I'll wait until the enemy casts fire on me, and then I'll get my mage to swap my guy and their guy, so now they're in the fire.
Right.
There's just like so many different things you can do. It's kind of like never ends. I'm 30 hours in, I'm still discovering things, and the story is phenomenal. It's just
only
I can't
100
say
hours to go.
I mean, it's one of those that, like, I know you would love it, and you would probably love it too, or whatever, but it is a time sink, and there's a lot going on in there. A lot of the story, like, if you don't play in big chunks, it's hard to follow the story in a lot of ways.
Sure.
But it's still fun, even when I don't know. Even when I'm lost in the story, it's still really fun.
Is there like a I don't know, like a summary that you can view to, like, recap?
Yes, there is, but the weird thing is, this game is... Like, you can go into a quest menu and there's a bunch of different quests, but it doesn't tell you, like, oh, this is this marker on the map. This is that. Just go over there. It's not really like that. It's more like context, and you can read about it and be like, okay, well, I talked to this guy. I know where this is.
Okay.
But it's not as easy as I select this quest and go do that. It's a lot more of you kind of find these things organically.
Mm-hmm.
And so that means that a lot of these quests, I'm not like finishing them right there, but there's so much in the game that almost every time I play, I can just pick a direction and start walking, and I'm going to stumble into multiple quests or like stumble into the next part of the quest. Very rarely am I like lost with nothing to do. Yeah. So really fun game. Probably one of the better games I've played in a while.
Yeah, I've always wanted to get into that, or like another one of the, Oblivion like CRPGs that have been come out in the recent years that look really, really cool. Yeah,
I don't play many CRPGs. Obviously, I don't do much PC gaming at all. I'm pretty new into it, or at least back into it. But everyone says that this is one of the best that has come out in a long, long time. And I'd believe it, because I feel like I've barely scratched the surface. There's a lot there. So if you have a PC, and it came out on PS4 and Xbox One, I haven't really looked into how it is, but I cannot imagine how that experience would transfer over the console, just because of user interface.
There's like a lot of menus.
There's a lot of different menus, and like even if they manage to do it in some way, I feel like it's gonna be gimped a little bit. So I would suggest, if you can play it on PC, do that, and I would look into it before you get it on console, because I could easily see that being a frustrating, like, just kind of mapped over experience. Yeah. But maybe they did it. It seems like it would be really, really hard.
Is it out now, or is it coming out?
Yeah, it's out.
Okay.
It's out already. It was just recently released.
Yeah, I'm sure it's the type of game that you want it running on one like screen, and then on the other screen you have like a guide or like a wiki or something.
Yeah, I do like kind of tab over and like look at stuff and tab back and everything. And there's just so much. Like, I'll have like the inventory up, and then I'll be like, I'm trying to decide what equipment to do or whatever. I'm like, oh, what are their stats? So I'll pull up the stat menu, and I'm able to see that while I see their inventory, and see the map while I see this. There's just lots of, like, you're doing multiple things at once, and I don't think that would transfer very well to just buttons. And
not enough things.
Yeah, that's maybe the Xbox Elite, I know, has like little back keyboard things or something. Maybe you can use that, but that's $100 to buy that controller.
Jeez.
So no.
Yeah. Well, I guess before we move on, I guess we can tease a little bit. Well, so everyone knows I'm going to be gone next week on the podcast. They can, I'm sure they'll figure out something new for next week.
If you want to join me next week.
But, and it's kind of applies to Daria, and when I come back in 2 weeks, we'll have a lot of games to talk about.
Yes.
Dragon Quest comes out on Tuesday.
Just mere days away. Like 2 days, or less than a day, because it comes out at midnight.
Yep, and I have that preloaded already. Just gotta wait for that clock to, hit 0.
Where's the hype?
Yep, and I'll be out of town. I won't get back to next Sunday, but when I get that, I'm getting Spider-Man. So I'll have impressions of both games, and Darby should, when I do come back, have some time to play a little bit of
Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Yep.
Which comes out the following Friday, whenever that is.
So I'm just going to assume we're just going to make our main topic just us talking about those 3 games.
Yeah, we're going to have to carve out some time because we're going to have a lot of things to talk about.
I would say we do that in the beginning like we normally do, just let it go longer. And
yeah, I think so. And I'm planning to do an actual like full review of Shadow of the Tomb Raider and like a video review and everything just to try to get practice doing that. So check that out. I guess we can look forward to that. Alrighty, Jeffrey. Let's get into the news. News jingle.
Jingle, jingle, jingle. Okay, this is kind of a follow-up to a story we had last week. It's going to have a lot of the same information, but for the sake of people who didn't hear it and just clarifying this is what it is and all that kind of stuff, I'm just going to read all the information.
Okay.
Even if it repeats a lot. This comes from Nick Santangelo from IGN. Following weeks of rumors, Microsoft officially unveiled its Xbox All Access program. Xbox All Access lets consumers pay for an Xbox One X or Xbox One S in monthly installments when they commit to 2-year Xbox Live Gold and Xbox Game Pass subscriptions. Essentially an interest-free console financing plan, Xbox All Access will last for a limited time and, as earlier rumors suggested, appears to only be available in the United States. The Xbox One X bundle costs $34.99 per month for 24 months, while the Xbox One S bundle is $21.99 per month for 24 months. It's a payment structure that will be familiar to any consumer who's ever signed up for a 2-year phone plan, allowing them to pay for the phone in installments. Where it differs, however, is that Xbox All Access subscribers will actually save money off the MSRP of the product and services they're buying. This is particularly true for the Xbox One S bundle, which saves subscribers about $132 off standard retail pricing to buy the consoles and services separately. The Xbox One X bundle isn't anywhere near that good of a deal, but it still saves buyers about $20 off retail pricing. Xbox All Access is available at Microsoft stores and requires customers to sign up for a Dell preferred account and pass a credit check. Anyone who wishes to opt out of their plan early will need to pay the outstanding cost of the console to do so.
Yeah, so we talked about this last week when it wasn't actually official yet, so it's actually here. The one thing that, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think we knew from the previous rumors or whatever, were that you actually are saving some money with this.
Yeah, that's one thing. We could have done the math, but we weren't going to do that on air or anything.
I mean, not that it's that much in the grand scheme of things, but it's something. I mean, that's like 132. I mean, at least for the X, it's not that much.
The S, that's a pretty...
yeah.
I've seen some deals where you get the S for $200. That's about where I got mine for.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's a significant chunk.
And that's $132 off of if you bought the S and the Game Pass.
2 years of Gold and Game Pass.
Yeah. Right.
So that's a significant chunk if you wanted to get into that Xbox ecosystem.
Yeah.
And since it comes with Game Pass, we probably mentioned last week, is you get most of the exclusives and any upcoming exclusives. So that's
pretty good.
That's a pretty good deal even if you have like a PS4 and want to get at it.
Like we said last week, I mean it's still like this is a good like financial option for people, and it's a good way to, I mean, like, you can. Yeah, we talked about it all last week.
Yeah. Now, there's a couple new information here we could discuss, but not nearly as long as we did last week. But the whole thing, it's going to be for a limited time. We didn't know that last time.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like they're just like testing this out.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. See how this does, and if it's successful and everything, maybe look at it for Scarlet. Not right away necessarily, but maybe after it's out for a year or two.
Just test the waters before you go all in.
Yeah.
That makes sense to me. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Again, the Xbox One S deal.
I mean, kind of like, why not do it at that point? It's like, you get the hassle, I guess, of the monthly subscription or whatever. But I mean, you pretty much just sign up for it and you're done. So it's just gonna happen. So it's like,
and you get all those games. I mean, you'll be able to play Fortnite, Rocket League, all the exclusives.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Like what I was trying to say before and completely lost it was that you can just get this one package even if you don't even buy many other games because of Game Pass. You're gonna get a lot of things.
Yep, you got a lot, and again, multiplayers. You get Fortnite just with the console. Obviously, I think you need Xbox Gold to do it on Xbox. I'm not pretty sure. I think that was a thing. And Rocket League was just on there, and you got the online, so you can play that online as well. Yeah,
and all 2 years from now, it's probably going to be way bigger. So it's like,
again, it's a great deal.
Right.
Especially,
Yep.
Okay. I'll be interested to see how that does for them.
I am too. And if you want to hear us talk more about what we think it means for Microsoft in the future and stuff like that, we talked about it last week.
Yep. Okay, next story comes from Alice Gilliard from IGN. Streets of Rage 4 is in the works, publisher .emu has announced. The brand new Streets of Rage title is being developed by Lizard Cube, who made Wonder Boy the Dragon's Trap, and Guard Crush Games, Streets of Fury, and will once again feature Axel and Blaze as the playable characters. Streets of Rage 4, a direct continuation of Sega's arcade brawler series, will sport hand-drawn visuals from Lizard Cube, alongside new gameplay mechanics, solo co-op play, new stages, and an original story. A release date and platforms were not announced yet.
Axel and Blaze.
Yeah.
Yeah. Makes sense for the time.
Oh, this is like perfect names.
Yeah, but I mean, that's a big game.
And like something that, I mean, just like so many games that we've heard recently, like Windjammers 2 and stuff, that you never thought that Streets of Rage was coming back. And like people were so excited when this happened.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say like even the pressure and the hype for this is way higher than Windjammers 2.
Yeah. I mean, because Windjammers 2 is more of a funny thing. Like, how did this happen? You know, at least Streets of Rage was a big deal. And stuff. Yeah. So it's a lot different. I don't think any of us really have history with Streets of Rage. It looks cool. I like beat 'em ups, and I like the art style of this, so I'm interested in that. But I mean, what's more just interesting to me is this and the story we're going to talk about next, and Windjammers and all these other ones. We are definitely in an age where like more and more and more of these old franchises are coming back, and it doesn't necessarily have to be the biggest of the biggest coming back. It's like everything is.
Yeah.
Like, what was it that THQ Nordic just brought back something that was like really weird and random, but I don't remember.
Now, I will speak for fans of this series. I know there's a lot of skepticism because .emo doesn't have the best track record with these sort of things. And a lot of people were expressing concerns that until there's like hands-on like impressions, because this is a series where it's about the feel of the game. It's not just another beat 'em up. Like, this game was so good, or the series was so good because it just was one of the best in that like, genre.
Yeah, so it's not like guaranteed that this is going to be handled well. Yeah.
And people are also really looking forward to the music too, because Streets of Rage 2 has, to a lot of people, one of the best video game soundtracks ever.
Right.
And so people are worried that the soundtrack might be generic, or just kind of like that kind of, again, I guess generic synthwave 80s soundtrack that they put on everything that's kind of old and 80s now.
Yeah.
Which it was not that, back in the day.
I would be very interested to see like what they're like exactly who's working on it. Did they get old people to come back on it? Are they reusing some of the music? Or are they, what exactly is going on?
At first, the like Streets of Rage people working on it, they may have some people in the studio. I don't know, but the way their story made it, the way the story read it made it sound like it's not going to be the same people, or because they would have straight up said so. I think.
Yeah, that would have been an announcement.
Yeah,
like, hey, we got the old people back.
That would have been a big deal.
This seems like just all new people across the board. So, fans of those games are kind of like, excited, but also don't
hesitant.
Don't get too excited. Hold your breath.
Guess. I mean, I'm not saying they, fans should accept anything they're given, but in the case of this is kind of better than nothing. At least you get a chance to get good Streets of Rage 4 instead of it being non-existent.
Yeah. That's. Yeah, I mean, I think healthy skepticism is good, but I'll be very interested to see what fans of it think, and what people are new to it think, because like I'm interested in it, but I don't have that history.
Yeah, I imagine it says co-op. It doesn't say local co-op. I imagine that's got to be if Streets of Rage doesn't have local co-op.
But it's also just like super interesting to just see like how long is this trend going to keep going of like these like really old gaming series coming back, and are they going to all be successful? Because this is
not all of them, but
this is also like, I don't think it's all tied to that, but I think Easy Allies mentioned it kind of like, I think Crash took everyone by storm where they're like, wait, what? It sold how much? It's like, we knew that people wanted Crash, but that sold like millions and was crazy big seller. And I do legitimately think that opened some people's eyes and be like, okay, so what do we own?
Yeah, go through the catalog and see.
I think it also helps that it feels like recently the middle-sized / smaller size games are being more and more successful.
Yeah.
So that would make like Windjammers 2, people make Windjammers 2 and Streets of Rage and all that stuff more like, okay, in this day and age, this can be successful even outside the whole nostalgia thing.
And if you make it for the right budget and have the right like dedicated audience, you can support it enough and come out on Switch. That's why I would suggest for all of these like kind of smaller things. They're
gotta imagine, especially since it's the people who made Wonder Boy, it'll be at least on Switch. I imagine we mentioned it before the podcast started. I imagine this is gonna be PS4, Xbox One, Switch, PC,
everything.
Yeah. I would think so. That would be the smartest move, I think, if you could.
I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be.
Yeah. Well, speaking of old series coming back.
Yep, and beyond everything. Okay. This also comes from Alex Gilliard from IGN. Onimusha Warlords is getting a remaster this upcoming January, Capcom has announced. As detailed on Capcom's recent blog post, the 2001 PlayStation 2 game will be released on PS4, Xbox One, PC, and Switch on January 15, 2019, and will cost $20. The remaster will sport enhanced visuals with updates being made to the game's background graphics, character models, and cutscenes. Capcom is also adding analog stick support, 4:3 and 16:9 display options, and a new soundtrack alongside newly recorded Japanese voice acting. I didn't know that. That's cool. Additionally, easy mode will be unlocked from the start, which wasn't available in the original game. There's also a screen scroll feature being added. This will allow the backgrounds to scroll up and down based on player movements, displaying areas which can't be fully seen in some positions.
Jacob, are you an Onimusha man?
I'm not, but like I know people really love this series, and I want to love it if it's good.
I didn't know there were that many games. Like I've heard people talk about how many Onimusha games there were, and it's like there's a lot of them. Yeah.
Yep.
I feel like it's like all these Japanese samurai games are coming out, and Onimusha was like, "No, you're not starting this party without me."
Yeah,
back from the dead.
Kick the door open.
Yeah,
like,
really.
What's up?
Burst the coffin.
Yeah.
open.
So what do we get? Yeah, we got this. We got Neo. We got Sekiro. We got Ghost of Tsushima.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
now,
it's a lot. I feel like we're missing some too. But
watch like Sega announced they're going to localize the Yakuza samurai games.
I mean, like
everybody's
honestly, anything is fair game at this point. Anything is going like seeing people just like Streets of Rage lose their mind from this announcement.
Yeah, I think what they're doing with this remaster, they're doing everything right, especially from the price point to it being on everything, and the fact, they're doing the whole visual stuff. They're recording new voice lines, which I haven't played Onimusha, but I imagine those haven't aged particularly.
Did you watch the trailer?
Oh no, I think I missed it.
Oh god, it's horrible. Like the voice acting is about as bad as it could be. Right. I think it was pretty horrible, but I was also like, old game is old, but it's pretty bad. That was English. It was the English voices.
I'm
sure.
It wasn't Japanese in the thing.
This is one of those games that I played. I haven't played Japanese.
Probably play in Japanese just so you don't have to know if it's good or bad. You can just kind of...
Yeah. And I don't know if easy mode's good or not. I don't know how hard of a game it is.
Yeah, but options, I guess.
Yep, options.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And $20 is sweet. I mean,
adding stick support's good. From what I've heard.
Yeah, probably. I don't know.
Now, I do want to know with the analog support, because like when they did the Resident Evil like HD ports to the PlayStation 4, they added in where you can use the stick to move around. That completely destroys those games' difficulty.
Okay.
So I wonder if it's like going to be the same thing.
Yeah.
Or, like you should probably play this with the original control scheme.
Yeah, some of those like sometimes they do get a little too cute when they're bringing back the old games to like trying to add new things in there that weren't intended at all, and sometimes it can like completely take from.
I mean, with the Resident Evil series, it's like if you aren't used to tank controls and you can't really wrap your head around that control scheme, sure, but you can like literally like dance circles around zombies and never get touched. So
kind of hard to be afraid of the zombies if you could just run from them. Yeah, I get that. And there wasn't that Metal Gear remaster or something that like they added in like a first person or something and it completely broke the game. I thought there was some Metal Gear like re-released it.
Well, they added in
Twin Stakes.
Well, with Peace Walker, they added in, like, because it was originally on the PSP, so they added in just a normal third-person control scheme, which makes that game better.
Okay.
But
yeah, I don't know. I just know people talk about it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, that's funny. Interesting to realize this comes out about a week and a half before another Capcom game, Resident Evil 2 remake.
Yeah.
Ah, interesting.
I imagine that's not gonna hurt much because it's a $20 game that's like 6 hours at most.
Yeah.
But people can easily do both if they so desire.
I agree.
Yep, I agree. Okay, next story. This is going to be a quick one. Battlefield 5 is delayed from October 19th to November 20th.
That Red Dead Shadows.
Yeah, citing, player feedback and all that stuff, trying to make it better, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah, and also I know people were talking about, there's some other EA game that's coming out like really close to it or something. Or maybe it was just the fact that
I think it's one of those cases. It's a week after. It was a week after Call of Duty.
It was like a week after Call of Duty and like a week before Red Dead or something like
that.
Oh yeah,
that's right. It was right in the middle, like
sandwich.
Call of Duty 1 week, Battlefield 5, Red Dead.
And I also could see this partially, like, even if it wasn't like the reason for it, I could see they punt it back to November, and then they turn to the marketing team and they're like, you have to get people excited for this game, because so far it's not like the pre-orders are apparently really far down. No one's really talking about Battlefield. I feel like people are talking about Call of Duty a lot more than Battlefield, whereas Battlefield 1 no one would shut up about it. So I definitely think they're probably like looking like, what do we do? We have the Battle Royale mode. What more do you want?
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, there's a lot of reasons they probably pushed it back, that it all just kind of added all together. Like, let's do this, like, the Red Dead Call of Duty thing. That was probably not the main reason necessarily, but that was one of those things, like, made them feel better about doing it.
The combo of both of them, and both of them being overshadowing Battlefield hype-wise.
Well, and the feedback, and, like, you were just saying people's not excited, but then after Red Dead is about, people will still be talking about it, but that gives them a few weeks of, hey, Red Dead's not being marketed anymore, we can market it.
Yeah.
And November, at least right now, it's been filling up. I'm probably forgetting some stuff, is a lot more.
I do think this is a better date.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think Fall 76 is the biggest thing that could compete with it in November that I can think of. Pretty big deal, but
I remember there being something else, but I don't think
there are other games in there, like Pokemon and Hitman and stuff, but as far as, like,
it's pretty
kind of similar fan bases.
I mean, I also wouldn't advise, if Call of Duty was the second one to make this choice, I just wouldn't advise Battlefield and Call of Duty releasing, like, a week apart.
Yeah, you're just eating your market.
That's your direct competition.
Yeah.
Like,
and you're probably right, there's probably another EA game that's...
And EA's seen this before, because Titanfall 2 got eaten alive by Battlefield and Call of Duty, because it was, like, sandwiched between them.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, and I know the whole pre-order thing, that's also a little overblown.
Yeah, definitely, but...
I think I read somewhere that as of right now, Battlefield's total pre-orders exceeds whatever amount Titanfall 2 sold total.
Oh, okay.
So, it's not going to be like a flop, probably.
I mean, I'm sure a game as big as Battlefield and a name as big as Battlefield, it's going to do... like a certain baseline of, like, it's gonna sell millions of copies and make millions of dollars, period. It's just, will investors be happy? Because
they'll never be happy.
Guess we'll see how that Battle Royale goes.
Yep, all the Battle Royale games, I'm gonna get them all mixed up probably.
But how dare they put women in
undercover?
In the undercover. How dare they?
I mean, that's why they got pushed back. They got to remove the women.
You're right. Yeah,
women didn't fight in World War II. What are you talking about?
What were we thinking?
All those French resistance fighters, they didn't do anything. All those, like, Russian snipers who were women, they didn't exist.
Hey, Jacob, using facts here. We don't like that.
But XX420 Swag on Twitter said that women shouldn't be in there, so we have to take them out.
Okay. Next thing we mentioned last week, Nintendo announced an Indie Direct. It happened this week, so
it did.
This one was a lot more like bigger things in there. So I'm gonna go over some more of the games. We can talk about them. Maybe some quick and dirty.
Let's do it.
First game they had on there was Hyper Light Drifter, a game people have been really looking forward to. I don't know if this was the official announcement for it on Switch or not.
Yeah,
Some of these I'm not completely sure on.
Yeah.
That's a good game.
Yeah. It's coming September 6th and will come with an exclusive outfit and exclusive weapons for the Switch.
GB Mario?
Now they showed that off as just, yeah.
You could probably do like a Link thing because Hyper Light Drifter is a lot like an old school Zelda game.
Mm.
I think they showed him off in there and they're not like Nintendo themed. They're just
I mean,
new stuff.
That would be very jarring. In this game, just the story and the atmosphere, it'd be weird.
Yeah, I feel like it has a very distinct art style. It'd be kind of strange.
Yeah, I feel like this is one of those indie games that people have been hearing about forever and how good it is. So it's going to sell well.
That's on my That's on my list of games to get to. Why should I bump it up?
I mean, just a very colorful, beautiful world. And it's kind of like you start in the hub world and you have these different kind of dungeons you can go to. I like
hub worlds. I mean, I legitimately like hub worlds.
The gameplay, I think, is really just fun and satisfying. So you have like your melee attacks with your like light sword, and then you have a gun that you can equip, and you can do dashes, and you can chain dash and attack guys. And just my favorite part of the game is the soundtrack.
I've heard some of it, and it's awesome. Man.
The artist is Disasterpeace, and he did the soundtrack for Fez, as well as the horror movie It Follows.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's this very heavy synth, just atmospheric soundtrack. And the world itself is this ruined, post-apocalyptic sort of thing, and your character is looking for some sort of cure for his terminal disease.
I didn't know that.
So yeah, it's a kind of a very heavy game. There's also kind of like a lot of color and splashes of like magenta and light blue and neon greens.
Yeah. And it's a critically acclaimed indie game that's not a Metroidvania.
Yeah.
Hey.
And it's also
those exist.
Yeah, and it's also a very personal game too, because the guy who made it, like I think he had like a chronic heart condition, and so the game was like kind of inspired by his experiences with that illness.
Wow. That's awesome. That's awesome. Jacob knows a lot more than us, Jeff. Jacob's a lot smarter than us.
There's a really cool Vice documentary on making this game.
Okay, that's awesome.
Definitely check it out.
This game, just color palette wise, is awesome. It's very appealing to me.
It's one of those things I'd want to play it, but let's face it, I'll probably never get to it.
I mean, it's only like 8 hours or so. It's not a long game.
Okay. I like 8 hours.
That's one of those. Unfortunately, out of all these games, like kind of like this, they're going to be on the Switch. Hollow Knight is my biggest priority, and Hollow Knight is like 30 to 40 hours.
Plus, you got all the DLC in there, and that's just...
That's the bad part.
Okay, let's move on. Towerfall was announced, I can these are necessarily announced for the Switch on the internet. Towerfall is coming September 27th. The Switch version will come with both expansions, a new 6-player battle mode, 4 additional variants, and the addition of Celeste, Madeline, and Battleline as playable characters.
Heck yeah.
Hype.
Heck
Celeste is great.
Yeah. Awesome like multiplayer game. And
I think I know we're interested in these. I feel like this is one of the ones that instantly, at least for me and Derek, speak for Jacob, are like instant. We're probably definitely going to get.
Right.
It's right up our alley as far as local multiplayer
games go. It's a must get because it's probably going to be cheap, and it's just one of those to have in your rotation of multiplayer games to play with friends. Have you seen Towerfall?
I mean, I played a little bit of it.
Yeah. It's
a new 6-player mode, so let's put this out.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, 6 people.
8-player Smash, 6-player.
Yep.
That would be chaotic, but it'd be fun.
Comes out in about 4 weeks.
Another September game.
Yep.
But that one's a small.
Hyper Drifter. Oh man. Okay, Treasure Stack's coming winter 2018. Supports cross-platform play with PC and Xbox One. It allows you to take the battle online with your friends. I guess that means play on PS4, but PS4's like, you can't play with your friends.
Nope. If your friends aren't on PlayStation, they're not your friends.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Tetris-like game thing with a bunch of treasure chests.
Not your real friends.
Shuhei's your only real friend.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I think it's like a play-by-way, like Tetris-like thing where you're stacking treasure chests and stuff.
Yeah. Not my game, but looks cool.
Zarvot is coming October 2018. If for people who watch this, the little cube one where you go around supposed to work with your friends or whatever. It's all puzzles, you can do those things, but you can shoot lasers, which I like lasers.
Of course.
And in the Switch version, you can control a giant banana that you can use to destroy your friends and play against them.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah.
Do you want I can mark down the time here. Do you want me to pull it up so that I can just like skip around as you're talking so that we can visually see
Sure.
it ourselves?
Okay, so yeah, we're watching the Zarvat thing. You're doing cubes. They're playing against each other. Yeah, you control the giant banana. Kill everything.
It's pretty cool how it's kind of like realistic looking. Like you wouldn't really expect this game to look like that.
It's a cool looking game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not
Coming
what I
out
was
in October.
envisioning when
Yeah.
you're describing it.
If you just say a cube and you're like doing lasers, you'd think.
Yeah, move on. This is one that got a lot of people's attention. Maneko's Night Market is coming early 2019, and it looks like an Animal Crossing style game to feel that itch.
But it looks like it might be like kind of more narrative and more like,
narrative based.
Yeah.
It's not exactly like Animal Crossing, but has some of the stuff. You do some woodworking.
Art style definitely has like somewhat of like a Studio Ghibli type feel to it, like in a not directly, but like kind of like a weird vibe, like, and it's kind of, at least it looks like it has a lot of
charm to it.
It's very charming, and it has kind of like a Japanese
and the
theme to it.
I think they said it during the direct. It has like a 20-hour narrative about. And then, of course, there's extra stuff you can do. Yeah, and the town's obsessed with cats, and that's a cat god that apparently only the main character stumbles onto and stuff.
It's a really cute game.
Yeah.
It's a really, really cute game. And
I expect that if it's any good, will be popular.
Yeah, I think people will like it a lot.
Okay, next game. Hopefully I got everything in there, so...
You just keep going.
Yeah. Next game is Samurai Gun 2. A sequel to Samurai Gun, obviously.
Well, you don't say, Jeff. Is that how that works?
Yeah. It's like
Towerfall in a way.
Yeah, but it looks like it's more of a story stuff going on, and I think you play against and with people, and it has like a little comic book style thing going on where you can read the story. The only thing I don't really care for is if you keep on watching when you kill something, it does that screen thing.
It seems like that would get annoying.
Yeah.
It seems like that could really start to get on your nerves. Maybe that... Well, I don't know. It seems like that's a thing.
Yeah, it seems like a cool thing that'd be fine if it was like 1 versus 1, but then when you get more people in there,
you're gonna have a seizure because it's just gonna be like a strobe light going. Yeah, it's a weird effect, but I like the like very kind of hand drawn like comic book art style thing to it, and it looks pretty interesting.
Yep. Coming early 2019.
I've never heard of Samurai Gun.
Did the first game have a story, or was it just co-op?
I think I heard that it didn't. I think I heard someone say like, the first Samurai Gun 2 has the Samurai Gun gameplay, but then they just added a story to it or something. Made some more gameplay stuff. Okay. I'm not 100% sure on that.
Yeah.
There you go. Next game is Bullet Age, which is coming in November of this year, and nice little colorful art style and all that kind of stuff. You get guns.
Yeah.
Kind of looks like Scribblenauts.
Yeah.
Scribblenauts
looking thing. It's co-op, like most indie games.
And I do love how indies definitely
are.
Indies are definitely like filling that local multiplayer and just couch co-op type void that we had.
Yeah.
in the video game industry, and I kind of like that being put to indies because you have a lot of like kind of smaller, cheaper titles that you will actually like want to buy a lot of because to play with your friends, have a variety, and I just think it's a lot more interesting. Like I don't really know if there's is or will be in the future a AAA or big budget room for local multiplayer, but I think this is
Nintendo
perfect.
Is like besides the only one who's
yeah, that's like their thing.
Yeah, that's a big part of their identity.
Right.
Since they're getting all these indie games now, obviously, since this all what we're talking about is all happening in this direct, making this switch more of the home for the local multiplayer,
and just like
it works with the Joy-Cons and all that.
The ultimate play with your friends in your living room machine is with Switch, and if all of your friends have Switch.
Now it's getting to the point, Darby, like we talked about when we were watching this the other night, where we're getting so many of these local multiplayer games, we got to be more selective.
Yeah, like all together, we've probably bought already spent a bunch of money with Game Beast, Duck Game, Ultimate Chicken Horse. Like it just keeps going.
And the only one out of this, all these other ones look really good, but the only one we're all in on right now is Towerfall.
Right? Yeah.
Towerfall just fits so well with our group of people.
Yeah, and that's a proven thing too.
Yeah. And again, that is 6-player thing. I know that just means more of less people. Like we have a bigger group, less people sitting out.
Right.
Which is always nice.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, next game is The World Next Door. It's coming early 2019.
Yeah, it's a really weird thing when the trailer started. It looks like it's like a visual novel type thing, and then it becomes like mahjong tiles.
Interesting.
It's super weird.
Yeah,
Like,
and it has to do with it's all like choices, and do all that puzzle thing, and while you go through the story, you unlock characters to use. I don't know if there's a difference between the characters.
It kind of seems like a crazy art style just to show you this, to bring you this like weird mahjong type gameplay, but it's like a weird mix of a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah.
It's something very different. Something very different. Anyway.
Yeah, hear more?
I can do this. You can go. You can keep going.
Okay, but yeah. World Next Door looks pretty cool. We'll wait and see more. Next game, Levelhead, is coming November 2018. Levelhead supports up to 4-player co-op and allows all players to help create levels at the same time. Levelhead will feature cross-platform play and includes a single-player campaign.
So this is basically Nintendo. You won't port Mario Maker, so we'll do it ourselves.
Yeah.
And we'll also release it on apparently all other consoles.
Yeah.
Actually, I'll try to look that up real quick to see which consoles it's
Which
on.
is cool. I mean, I'm sure that's being very reductive. I'm sure it's doing a lot of new things, but it definitely kind of seems like, especially coming on a Nintendo Direct thing, it's like, hey, you want to fill the Mario Maker void until you get it. Here you go. Yeah.
Let's see. Levelhead is going to be on Steam. No surprise there.
I'm sure this will be something where like people have made the craziest things.
Okay,
but
let's see. I'm just going to pause that real quick. Sorry, I just want to see what other platforms. It's going to be on Steam, Switch, and iOS and Google Play.
Oh, okay,
nice.
Does cross-play on that?
Mario Maker on your phone. There you go.
Yeah, it looks like a fun little level creator thing. I'm interested to see more of it, especially if we can do 4-player and create it all together and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Next game, King of the Hat, coming early 2019, and it looks like more of a more basic multiplayer thing. You're playing as characters, and they all have a bunch of different hats on. And what you're trying to do is knock people's hats off and collect them. And once you get their hats, they blow up.
So Super Mario Odyssey.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And
the best thing about this game, it has a playable washing machine.
that is
Cool. Just saying.
That's really all you need to know.
Yeah, see? This hat is the laundry.
It's cool, but I feel like in the indie market is getting like a lot of other ones where there's too many good games. And it's just like this, while it looks cute and everything, there's so many other games that I'm already might be spending my money on just in this one thing alone. It's like kind of false.
Yep. Next game, which might have been the star for a lot of people, Untitled Goose Game, coming early 2019, where you play as a goose and wreak havoc through the town.
It's exactly what you would think it is. You're just a goose, and you're doing goose-based shenanigans.
Goose things.
Yeah, and they said like, sandbox gang, goose simulator, all that kind of stuff. This screams, we need to do a let's play for it.
It looks freaking adorable.
Oh, yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. And they need to keep that title.
Yeah, they better not title it. It better ship as Untitled Goose Game.
Yeah. And then they go on and do a montage of a bunch of games.
Yeah, you can go check that out. Really.
Yeah, I'll just go through the information it has, and then we can talk about real quick. Messenger, which it was announced in Direct coming out August 30th. It's out now.
It was a really cool game.
Oh, yeah. If you... Ninja Gaiden? Let's go. Reviews have been great for the game. Supergiant Games announced 2 games that are coming to Switch. Bastion is coming September 13th, and Transistor is coming November 2018. I imagine Pyre will be some point.
Yeah.
It has to be.
That's a good get for Nintendo. Those are good games to have.
Yeah.
Perfect platform for those.
Wasteland 2 Director's Cut is coming September 13th. Undertale is coming September 18th, which lines up with rumors because it was announced like last month or a while ago that it was coming to Japan September 15th, so no surprise.
I will be getting and playing that game.
Same. Finally getting the Undertale train.
Yeah, now that like all the hype has kind of died down, and it's not.
It was like I was gonna play it before. I was like, okay, I'll just go ahead and get my PC or PS4 or something. And they said it's coming to Switch. I'm like, oh, all right, I'll just wait for that. I was like, I can wait.
Yeah, we have a PC. They got the PS4 and then stuff, and then
I am curious because I know that game. I haven't played it, but I know that game does weird stuff with computer files. So
yeah.
I wonder how that's gonna work.
I am very interested to see what we think about it from, like you said, like pretty far removed from the hype. We've been hearing how it's so great and everything. I'm hoping that it hasn't been like overhyped for me.
What happens
Because
if
I
you-
honestly actually don't really know that much about it for all that people talk about it. Like
Yeah,
I know that you can go through like pacifist run. Or
Yeah,
whatever,
all I know is that we may want to go through multiple playthroughs depending on how long
and
it
I
is.
know that it gets pretty like meta,
Yeah.
but that's about all I know.
All I know is that Sans is apparently Ness from Earthbound. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah. All the crazy theories.
Yeah. Light Fingers, which looked very... I'm trying to remember which one that was. It looked pretty interesting. Try to find it on...
I can try to find it.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's coming out September 20th. I'm trying to remember what it was. I think I remember reading it's like a co-op like puzzle thing or multiplayer puzzle thing where you play against people. Yeah.
I see.
Again,
That's very
another one
interesting.
where it's like the art style looks like way better than you would think it is.
Yeah, Super Brothers is coming October 2018. Which one that necessarily is. Jackbox Party Pack 5 is coming October 2018.
Does Switch have all of them at this point?
I think so.
Okay.
I
good.
think at this point I'll have them all. And this might be when it's coming out on the other things. I can't remember. I feel like
Yeah,
Pack's,
I think
like,
the
announced
5's the
recently,
new
I
one.
think.
Yeah.
so. Good, just getting that stuff right away.
Yep.
We'll look into that. And it's going into the one final thing at the end where Into the Breach was announced for the Switch, which is a very popular game on PC.
Yep.
People love it. And it was shadow dropped. It is out now.
Wow. Right now.
So that was a big deal for people.
Yes.
I've heard of Into the Breach, but I haven't seen it. I know it's a strategy thing, so I was watching. I was like, "What is this?" I know since they did the 1-2 thing, it's a big deal. That's all Into the Breach. Like, oh, and then the show Shadow Drops. Like, oh, okay. So a lot of cool stuff there. A lot of stuff I'm interested in. Whether I get all of it,
Yeah.
well, I'm definitely not getting all of it. Which I get's gonna be up for debate.
Look, all of it, Jeff.
Yeah.
All of it.
But overall, very good indie direct. I think
I was waiting for that to come.
A lot of big games, big indie games.
Yeah.
Coming onto the platform.
We're getting more and more where Nintendo is still kind of playing catch up, getting all the indie games, but it's getting all the big ones. They still need to do the stuff to
And pretty much
promote
every
it.
new one's coming to Switch immediately, which
Yeah.
you can't
Yeah.
say for a lot of other.
Yeah, I still like how Nintendo's promoting all these indie games and putting them
When
in the
Hollow
forefront.
Knight, you would have thought Hollow Knight just released because of how.
And
much
yeah,
hype
I was about
it
to
is.
say, it gives these games, even they've been out and while new live, like I'm imagine Hyper Life Drifter is going to be in a lot of people's minds for the next
Again.
little
I mean,
bit when
hell,
it comes
even
out.
Bastion Transistor will probably get in a lot of people's hands that missed it. You
Yeah.
know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So it'll just be all interesting seeing like if the developers say like how these sell compared to
And just
Other
again,
things.
good on Nintendo for like they have a dedicated thing to where it's like here's a bunch of indie stuff. Like Sony doesn't even have that, where they don't highlight indie developers like that. I mean, obviously it just ends up happening, but Nintendo's like straight up like this is like an arm of our thing. Like this is a direct. It's cool.
There's one thing we kind of, in a way, do better than anyone else as far as, like, this is the platform people want to play on. They're selling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which Sony had that with the Vita. They just never addressed it.
So
You just passed on its will to the Switch.
No.
now, people were a little upset about two things regarding this Indie Direct.
Oh, are we going into?
No. I'm going somewhere with this.
okay.
There were two big omissions. Shovel Knight wasn't in it, and No More Heroes wasn't in it.
Okay.
And those were both addressed outside of it, so we're going to talk about that.
All right.
I don't even know where you think I was going, but...
Smash.
Oh.
I was going to be mad if we were going to talk about people wanting Smash to be there, which we're not going to talk about. Move on.
I know. No, this is a good lead. Yeah, this comes from Jonathan Dornbush from IGN. Shadow Knight King of Cards, the third and final story-based expansion, and Shovel Knight Showdown, the new play mode, will be released on April 9th, 2019. Both will be available standalone or free if you have Shovel Knight Treasure Trove, which I do. In Showdown, players can compete in either one-on-one duels and 4-player free-for-alls, or as cooperative teams battling against AI. Modes in Shovel Knight Showdown include Gym Class Showdown and a full story mode, which is customized to each playable character, offering a series of challenges, mini-games, and a new final encounter. Showdown will feature familiar locations and characters, as well as new stages and new songs. In terms of playable fighters, Showdown will offer over 16 playable characters. So, this is news everyone's been waiting on. I think it's later than people wanted.
Yeah.
As far as King of Cards, the Showdown thing, as far as I know, it's completely new.
Yeah.
So, that's exciting.
But, I mean, honestly, they can take all the time they want, and just the fact that it's just insane.
They're still doing
how
this.
much,
Still going.
like, these were basically just, like, goals. They were like, oh, we'll never get this on Kickstarter. Sure, if we get this high, we'll do this. And they met all of them, and they've done it. Like
Yeah.
so many other Kickstarters.
I have
don't.
soda. I need to play it more.
Like
All those campaigns.
and again, like someone on Easy Ally said this, but if like everyone better go support whatever they make after Shovel Knight because they have like put in the work.
Yeah, I'm sure at this point they're like, oh, let's get this over. I mean, get this over so we get the next thing, which I'm sure they're thinking that, but they're obviously not since it's taking them this long to...
Even like business-wise, it probably would have made more sense to drop this and move on, but they were like, we promised this, so we're
because
doing
most
it.
people who are getting this probably already paid for it through the treasure trove.
And they really care about their fan base and their customers.
Clearly.
Which is great.
No, they build up all the goodwill that everyone will just unquestionably like be into whatever they do next.
And I think it will help them when they go to their next game, because now they're known as the, like, look at all the crazy stuff they gave you. And think about the people who did like do the Kickstarter stuff that gets the stuff for free. The sheer amount of content they've gotten for like their donations is insane.
I got it for $25, and you get 4 campaigns and this multiplayer thing and all the extra stuff they're doing.
And I wouldn't be surprised if their next game is like a 100% like 360 different genre, because they're so tired of making this game. Which they did put out a poll sometime like last year or the year before. It was like, what would you like us to make? And they had like third-person shooter, like Metroidvania, beat 'em up. They had like a bunch of different things because like they want to explore something.
And it'll be interesting now they can finally use on a trailer from the creators of Shovel Knight.
And it's like, you know, all this extra stuff. It's not like low effort either.
No.
Like, the only other campaign I played is Plague Knight, but Plague Knight plays completely different from Shovel Knight.
Oh yeah,
and then Spectre Knight was like really cool from like the way that his moveset and stuff and the way that he did things. So it was like you said, like, they even went over some of the old levels and it completely recontextualizes them because of super, super cool.
Yep.
A lot of love for those guys.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
I'm kind of hoping, like, I don't know how they're structured. I know obviously they were small to begin with, but I don't know if they've grown or anything. Part of me is hoping they're already have part of their team already go ahead and working on whatever they're doing next.
Well, from, like, I read Jason Schreier's Blood, Sweat, and Pixels, and they had a chapter about that, and I mean, at least, like, it was, Shovel Knight had already shipped, and they had done a bunch of the other Kickstarter stuff, and it was the same group of guys that had been there from the beginning. They had not really expanded any, because it didn't seem like they wanted to. That was, it's been years, so who knows, they might be bigger now, but I don't know if they're big enough to have, like, a wing of Yacht Club games working on someone, but maybe. Yeah.
And we're like maybe a few guys on the side just at least getting ideas together.
I'm sure they've been making ideas for years because they've probably been wanting to get off this project for a while. Yeah.
And the other thing talked about earlier, Nintendo revealed that Travis Strikes Again No More Heroes now has a January 18th release date, and I know what you're thinking, everyone. It's supposed to come out in 2018. Suda51 said they want to give Smash Bros. A break, and they pushed it to next year.
What a good guy.
He's such a great guy.
Throwing Smash a bone.
Yeah. Now Sakurai needs to throw him a bone and put Travis in Smash. No, I'm fine with this. Like, I understand it. This is probably a better release date for the game. Yeah. If it wants any chance to do better. And good news is, since it is a smaller thing, I might have time to potentially get it, play it before Kingdom Hearts or Resident Evil.
Oh, yeah.
Nope.
Yeah, January is packed.
Yeah, it's...
the whole beginning of next year.
That's... yeah.
Freaking insane.
Yep, so I am looking forward to that. Next story... we have Jacob here for this. This comes from Matt Davidson from IGN. During the latest Sega Nama live stream, akin to Sega's version of a Nintendo Direct, Chief Creator Officer Toshiro Nagoshi made the announcement that the company has been working on something new and to expect a further announcement sometime in September. Although few details were mentioned, Siliconera highlighted a few key details. Nagoshi indicated that the announcement would take place somewhere around Tokyo Game Show, which takes place September 19th to 23rd. Whether this would be part of a conference or whether Sega is planning a separate event isn't something he'd be drawn on, saying only that the announcement will take place before the next Sega Nama, which is at the end of September. Whatever the title may be, it's been in development for some time, which Nagoshi revealed that a team has been working on it in one form or another for the past 3 years. It's not clear whether Nagoshi was referring to a new project from the Yakuza team or wider Sega project. The only hints that he would give were that the title would be completely different and that the announcement would make people flip.
Interesting.
Are you prepared to flip?
I'm prepared to flip.
I imagine this will probably be at Tokyo Game Show.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder if it's like just a new like IP in general, or are they doing something that they did kind of like the Fist of the North Star game?
Yeah.
Where it's
Oh,
like
yeah.
Speaking of that,
Or something licensed
then I have the
like that.
news from I saw. There's a demo out on PSN right now,
oh yeah,
and there is a Kiryu from Yakuza costume you can get in the game for the game.
cool. Yeah,
And the Fist of the North Star.
Yeah.
thing? That's
Yeah.
cool.
I want to try that out. Just try out the demo and see how that is.
I'll punch people so
Yeah.
hard they explode.
yeah. No, I'm excited for that game too.
So
Cool.
yeah, what kind of thing would you?
What would I want?
Yeah.
Okay, I think if they made like a wrestling game, that would be really awesome. Cause like it could just be about like a wrestler like starting from the bottom and like rising up.
Yeah,
to,
we're
like,
talking about how are we starting in like backyard wrestling? Is this
Sure.
where this starts? Like,
Yeah.
it's just a bunch of sweaty dudes.
I mean, hell, like I've been playing Kiwami too. They have like aging Japanese wrestlers playing characters in that.
Like
it's like
actual wrestling.
yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, they're just this huge bulking men going. "Ah." I think that'd be really great. Another one that I want them to do like their version of Bully. So it's like a school setting,
Huh?
and you play as like a delinquent punk with a heart of gold, which would totally fit with their games and their style.
Yeah.
You fight people in school and steal people's money and all that sort of stuff.
That's really
Got to run
yeah.
from the principal. I think that would work really well.
I got it. Now this will only, as far as Americans go, this will matter only to me and a handful of other people. But they've already worked with the Shonen Jump people with Fist of the North Star.
Yeah.
Make a Gintama game.
Sure. I mean, a lot of people are also saying that a like a part 4, like JoJo Part 4 game would work really well because it's a
Listening,
small
Alex?
setting and there's all these characters that you can interact with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And this helped remind me how close Tokyo Game Show is. That's gonna
September, right? Sometime.
September 19th.
Yep.
So we're to have you and try to get Will on for that.
Yeah, I'm excited because like even though their games aren't like technical masterpieces by any stretch of the imagination, like everything they do has a lot of heart put into it.
So
Like,
they have fun with it. They're gonna do something delightfully weird.
yeah, I mean even because they made like a PS3 like third-person shooter called Binary Domain, which sold terribly, was kind of bad to play, but was entertaining in its own right.
Do they make many games outside of Yakuza? 'Cause
Not
I feel like
this-
there's so many Yakuzas.
Not this team.
Yeah, which actually reminds me, I'm also excited because they said this was 3 years in the making, and I think I like the Yakuza games just in general, but if anything, the biggest detriment to them is that they had to put them out yearly.
Yeah.
So if they just take time to work on something and really
You know,
polish it
something
up.
that stood out to me is like, okay, this means it has been working a while, so it might be something that comes out sooner rather than later.
Yeah. So
Which would be nice.
looking forward to that.
Definitely want to see what that would be. I'm pulling for the wrestling game. Let's go.
That'd be fun.
Next story comes from Jesse Wade from IGN. Insomniac Games community director James Stevenson revealed Tuesday on the PlayStation blog the schedule and details for the first DLC for Marvel Spider-Man, The City That Never Sleeps. The DLC will consist of 3 installments, with the first chapter being Marvel Spider-Man The Heist, and will release on October 23rd. The Heist focuses on Felicia Hardy, also known as Black Cat, and features new missions and challenges for players, along with a new faction of enemies and 3 additional Spider-Man suits. The second and third installments includes Marvel's Spider-Man Turf Wars, which releases in November 2018, and Marvel Spider-Man Silver Lining that comes out the following month in December 2018. Further details on the last 2 chapters have not been revealed, but Stevenson said each release will feature new story missions, challenges, and suits to unlock. Marvel's Spider-Man The City That Never Sleeps bundle DLC will be available for $24.99 US, or individual installments will be priced at $9.99 US each.
I think the biggest conversation that's come from this, we knew that Spider-Man was going to have DLC. That's not surprising at all. But the biggest conversation has been people, like some controversy and people being mad in general, and then now in this situation of DLC being announced before release.
That's part of the reason I put it in here.
Before first release. That's really one of the other reasons why it's news. I guess, what do y'all think? Does it make you mad to hear DLC in any form like announced before the release of an actual game?
Yeah. I mean, like, I'm not going to fool myself. I'm sure a lot of studios have DLC plans in the works before the game even comes out.
Yeah.
But I just prefer them to wait like a few months afterwards.
It looks better. I feel like it looks better on you when it's after. Even though, like, I fully believe, like, I fully trust that, like, especially with 3 different installments like this, like, I think they're still working on it, and I don't think these are things that could have been in the game. Like, I think these are things that they're at least, like, still being worked on some, but it definitely does make it's weird. It seems weird when you do it. The only thing is it's releasing very soon, and that's the like usually if you're still working on DLC, it's 'cause it'll come out like Frozen Wilds came out like not a full year, but like
My thing about that is I'm just gonna
months.
go ahead and go out on a limb and say Frozen Wilds is a lot more ambitious than what this will end up being.
Yeah,
because that was a whole new map. And
it
all.
was. Yeah, it was
this will just be stuff that unlocks like more stuff will show up in the city and stuff.
Right.
I'm gonna go a little different and say I'm generally okay with people maybe announcing DLC beforehand because I'm not gonna fool myself. They plan this stuff way beforehand.
Yeah.
So I guess why not announce it? And the bright side is, I guess this is a whole different conversation. But they're selling deluxe stuff with DLC already in it. At least then you get to know before you buy the game if the DLC is something you want.
Yeah.
At least you get the general idea. And we knew about this beforehand anyway, because they announced the Black Cat DLC stuff months ago. Like, that was their general plan. Okay. I think that, if I'm right, that was.
You're probably right.
And as far as it being close, I get it. Like, the whole thing of it kind of looks kind of bad that it's being close, but the bright side from a consumer standpoint might be, just playing devil advocate with that is, since it's so close, you still have Spider-Man on your mind. You still have the itch to play. You don't have to exactly wait.
Yeah. I mean, I would say, like, maybe the close release date is... I mean, generally with DLCs, like, chunky DLCs, it's like, it gives a game a second wind, almost. Yeah. With this, maybe they're just trying to get all that out the way before later fall releases.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And also, I'm kind of, like... I feel like it's a case-by-case basis.
Yeah.
And there's certain, like, if I feel like there's a game where I'm being shortchanged with what I have, and it's like you're just dangling, like, the good stuff I want out here, it basically really seems like you just, like, chopped the half off and threw it out there, or it's, you're making me pay twice to get the full game. I'm mad, but maybe it's not even me, but I just feel like with a game is... like, beefy as Spider-Man seems like it is, when I'm already going to be spending, like, 40 hours in there or whatever, I'm a lot less bothered to then go spend a little bit more for another piece, because, like, what I'm getting is already massive. I mean, it's not like they're just giving you this tiny little taste, and you have to pay more for this, and there are games that have done that, where they, like, try to DLC shortchange you through everything.
Now, like you said, the case-by-case basis. Soul Calibur 6 not doing right. They have a DLC character that's coming out the day the game launches.
Okay, yeah, good. I was going through my head trying to think of an example. I was like, what could Goro in Mortal Kombat?
Yeah.
Like, you had to pre-order it from GameStop or something.
I think you had to pre-order it in general.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Same with Darkseid and Injustice 2.
That's annoying. There we go. That is prime. That's annoying.
Yeah, and Cross Tag Battle was the same way. Where they had, like, half the cast was DLC before
that
came out. Is gross.
And like in some of these fighting games, like I definitely know I've played fighting games where it's like one of the characters that ended up being DLC that you had to spend like $5 or $10 for is actually in the game. Like you fight them in the story mode or something. I think Injustice might, it was Injustice or Mortal Kombat, or one of them had that where it's like you were fighting someone. It's like they had their moveset in there. Like that's definitely happened before. I don't want to name drop Injustice because it might not have been though.
I don't think Injustice had it.
Yeah, it might not have been.
Yeah, I mean, and I agree with your case by case point. Like this DLC seems like it depends on the game, what genre you're playing. Not having all the characters day one in the fighting game, that sucks. Mass Effect 3, for example, had a party member that was DLC day one. What?
Yeah.
You're serious? Like no.
Yeah.
This, I think it's fine for what it is. I just don't like the principle of announcing DLC before the game's even out.
It's a little weird. I mean, like, I kind of okay with, like, maybe the roadmap, like you said, so you know what you're getting if you do buy the Season Pass, even though I would recommend people, like, if you don't even know what's in the Season Pass, don't buy the Season Pass.
Oh, I agree.
But, maybe it's good for that.
But, I guess that way, I mean, this is a whole nother can of worms, but at least then you buy the like version and save whatever money you want to save. Like, I don't know if I'm getting this DLC. I'm sure I'm going to love Spider-Man. I'm going to wait to see what this DLC exactly entails.
Yeah.
Because of the spider suits, this sounds like it's something that could be really cool, or it could be, hey, you do a couple missions that are exactly the same as other missions, but Black Cat talks to you for a little bit.
Yeah.
Very well could be. Let's plow through the rest of this pretty quick and get to Cyberpunk.
Okay, next thing. Anthem demo coming out February 1st. I'm sure that makes people excited because with this game like Anthem, people want to play it first.
Man, I like that so many games are getting demos. I like that demos are coming back.
Hopefully it's one of those this continues trend of demos where the stuff carries over.
Hopefully.
It sounds like it's the kind of game that would. Because you
so,
wouldn't want to create your character and then you have to do it again.
Yeah.
Right.
It would not be smart if it didn't.
My only weird thing is we talked about it like off camera or off mic already that they're announcing this so far ahead. The date's fine, it makes sense. It's just weird. It's like 5 months in advance.
Or it could be like the Monster Hunter World demo where you just picked like a selected like preset character.
And not do them, so I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah.
Maybe they do that.
Maybe.
But hopefully they just let you carry over character.
Yeah.
That's the best way to always do these things.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay, next thing. Luckily, Daria, looks less than it is.
Yeah.
We're going to do PlayStation Plus, v Xbox Gold, v Twitch Prime.
3 competitors now.
Yep. Okay, let's go to PlayStation Plus. Destiny 2 for PS4, which... This is a weird marketing thing. Is just to do a lot of the stuff, you gotta buy all the expansions, and the expansions coming out and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I really want to go. I should have done some research to see what exactly you are getting in this. I saw it pop up there. I was like, there must be some catch. I was like, this is like a demo or something. Like you can have it.
I think you can only play the vanilla stuff, and which a lot of people find kind of subpar. It feels like, and then I can't remember. I feel like. Was it you, Jacob, or maybe was Alex saying something like when they
Alex.
added? Yeah, okay. Alex said, and he might be wrong, and if he is, if this is wrong, I apologize. Take it with a grain of salt.
Blame Alex.
Blame Alex.
That the expansions blocked out like some sections of the game that were in the vanilla game because they were changed for the expansion, so you couldn't go in there in the vanilla game.
I mean, but it must be something like that because it was like. Bungie would not have been putting Destiny 2, like the full Destiny 2 on PlayStation Plus.
Yeah.
That was
to
never
get the full
happen,
thing, you gotta buy expansion 1 and 2 and whatever the new thing is.
Yeah.
You gotta buy all that to get everything.
Yeah.
So, but another thing that's cool, God of War 3 remastered for PS4. It's cool. I played God of War new God of War, loved it. Might try this out, and it was a completely different thing, but why the hell not?
It's like the mature, subtle tone of God of War 2018. You might like.
I mean, there are some freaking amazing set pieces in there. I mean, it's not at all the same game, but 3 is probably the best one. I mean, it's a visual, just like
it's not like I care about the story.
It just keeps going. Yeah. All
right. Another World 20th Anniversary Edition for PS3, cross-buy PS4 and Vita. Oh yeah, I'm just going ahead and says all this stuff will be on PS4. So, Cube Director's Cut, PS3, cross-buy PS4. Sparkle 2, PS Vita, cross-buy PS3 and PS4. Foul Play, PS Vita, cross-buy with PS4. Knowledge is Power, this is carrying over. PlayStation Plus bonus, when you use a Play Link. And Here They Lie, carrying over from last month. And it has PSVR. It's a PSVR game. Xbox Gold, Prison Architect for Xbox One. Livelock, Xbox One. Lego Star Wars 3, The Clone Wars, Xbox One and Xbox 360. And Sega Vintage Collection Monster World, Xbox One, Xbox 360. Now Twitch Prime, The Adventure Pals, Guild of Dungeoneering, Gunpoint, The Original Strife, and Pumped BMX Plus.
Yeah.
Jacob, who wins? I don't remember. I don't know if you've been on the podcast when we did this, but we do have to declare a winner between the 3 now.
Now, here's the problem. Twitch Prime does very good, and I trust them with games at this point. Problem is, I don't really know these games. They're like the first time I don't really know these games.
I know Gunpoint is like a fun sort of 2D pixel game where you're stealthing around and stealing espionage sort of thing.
I'd recognize Adventure Pals when I saw the thing, but I can't remember if it's supposed to be a good game or not. It's a very cartoony, like, block thing.
Well, this is in the moment, man. I think PlayStation has my vote.
I think so.
Clearly wins. You get to go back and see God of War 3, which is a well-made game. It's just...
But did we mark against it for Destiny 2 being a marketing ploy to the extreme?
I mean, you get to play some of it, whatever.
But you also get Another World, which is a pretty groundbreaking classic game. So,
all right. Tony, you won. Good job.
Yep. And this is carrying over from last week, because we cut it short. MPDs for July 2018. Just fun to talk about,
Yeah, let's just go through them and then discuss it.
Okay, top 10 for the month. Octopath Traveler, number 1. without digital, just physical.
Yeah.
Grand Theft Auto 5, number 2. That's how you know it's
It's so
slow
slow.
month. It wasn't number 6.
Yeah.
Number 3, Mario Kart 8 without digital. Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy, number 4. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild without digital. Far Cry 5 at number 6. Super Mario Odyssey at number 7 without digital. The Crew 2 at number 8. Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege still making bank.
There.
And number 10, Mario Tennis Aces without digital.
Yeah, stay on that list.
So-
Mario Tennis.
Octopath Traveler got number 1.
Which is
Selling well.
so
Pretty
good.
impressive.
And
so
I
happy for
saw a stat, I think, if I believe it to be true, this is the first JRPG that got number 1 in NPD since Kingdom Hearts 2.
Wow.
Jeez.
Yeah.
If that is true.
This also just once again we've been harping on this for weeks and weeks, but like they had the perfect release date for Octopath Traveler.
Yeah.
I
where
wish
it did
they
not
used
have,
that
like,
with Dragon Quest.
Yeah.
Square Enix, why?
But at least I mean worldwide, Dragon Quest could release any time and it's gonna sell a lot because of Japan. But
It's already out in Japan.
Oh wait, that's wait, yeah.
Like
dumb.
you pay taxes in Japan just to get a copy of Dragon Quest in the mail.
I don't know, but it was obviously like a
Right.
very, 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 very weak
Yep.
month because GTA is usually like 6 spots lower than they are, or 5 spots lower than they are. But still,
So,
good.
I think maybe we can agree with this. So as we know, we're not getting Octopath Traveler DLC. I don't think it's going to happen.
No.
They are working on Octopath Traveler 2, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, or
Like-
like a spiritual successor.
I think it's gonna be Octopath Traveler 2. I think it's
The Square
literally going to
Enix
be called
has,
Octopath
like-
Traveler 2.
You get another game.
I just think that like they're gonna want to keep that name recognition or whatever. I mean, I
Yeah.
guess they could argue these are a lot of the same people that made Bravely Second, which didn't do all that well, but we'll see.
Yeah, I feel like though it sounds like they're listening more to the fan feedback. They've been trying to do that the whole time, so they'll take the stuff to heart and do it to the next game.
But at the very least, another game like this is going to
Yeah.
be another like retro inspired thing with modern graphics, like the fusion of like modern.
And I would say even right now, Octopath Traveler name is bigger than Bravely Default.
yeah.
So keeping that name will be more thing. And okay, go through real quick. This might be the same as last time. Top 10 selling games of this year so far: Far Cry 5 number 1, God of War 2018 number 2, Monster Hunter World number 3, Call of Duty World War 2 number 4, Grand Theft Auto 5 number 5, Dragon Ball FighterZ number 6, Mario Kart 8 with no digital at number 7, NBA 2K18 at 8, MLB 18 The Show at 9, and Super Mario Odyssey at number 10 without digital.
Shout out to God of War 1 platform and still number 2 on the top 10 of the year. It's pretty impressive.
And it makes sense. I'm still happy Dragon Ball FighterZ is doing as well as it is. And as far as like the platform itself, Nintendo sold the most software this month in general, and the Switch sold the most when it came to numbers of units and dollar amount. But PS4 and Xbox One both also did very well.
Yeah. Consoles in general are just very, very, very up right now. All right. Main topic time. So this week or earlier, whenever, I don't remember. Monday. Monday, CD Projekt Red unexpectedly just dropped 50 minutes of Cyberpunk.
Well, they didn't unexpectedly. They were hinting at it like all that morning.
I'm talking about unexpectedly in the like, this has been like, we've had like several months of everyone wants to see this footage. No, we're only showing it to the press.
Is he?
Literally just with the Gamescom or whatever, still not seeing it. And then, it was unexpected. They streamed 50 full minutes of gameplay, and this is basically the same thing that people saw at E3.
Yeah, behind closed doors.
I think it was played live there. It like not the exact same recording, but the same like content.
Because it's different every time. Because you'd be like, "Yo, look over there." Like, okay.
Because like they really do harp on the decisions and how like this could have been gone a million different ways if you did all this and everything. So we all watched that, and we're just gonna kind of talk in general about everything because I could probably talk about this forever. I don't know about y'all, but just like overall, this really was everything like I wanted Cyberpunk to be. Just looking at this, and a lot of my concerns are obviously not completely away because we don't know everything.
Yeah.
But I was worried about gunplay and stuff since, The Witcher is a third-person action game. It's not really like this. It's a new genre for them. and the first person and stuff, just a lot of like new things for them. I was worried about it being a little too cheesy. I think it got close, but I think it was still like
give me the cheese.
It skirted the line, but it wasn't there. But overall, just that world looked so open and amazing. The gunplay looked fun, and I just want to like be in that world.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And you probably have like more interesting observations since you're familiar with The Witcher 3,
right?
Compared to us, I haven't played any of it.
Play the first 30 minutes.
You need to play it all, yeah.
Yeah, so just like as far as like role playing and like dialogue, like how did it compare to The Witcher? Did it seem more open, more constrictive?
I can imagine for Dari it's even hard to tell that because we saw so little. We just saw one direction and all went.
Yeah. I think it's really weird because this setting wise and then kind of like going down that same route, the dialogue and just character wise, it's like so different from The Witcher.
Okay.
Just because of, I don't know, The Witcher setting, and even The Witcher has like a lot of humor in it, like more than you would ever think, but it's a lot different than this type of thing. Like, and which is what kind of worried me about it. Like, Witcher's nowhere near is kind of this Cyberpunk almost like is like a teenager's version of being a cool adult, like and like new thing, and it's supposed to be a little tongue in cheek and a little like cheesy.
It's supposed to be a little like, you know, it's like a RoboCop, or you know
Give me my cheesy cyborgs.
Like RoboCop is awesome and it's entertaining, but I wouldn't say it's like this is a serious movie.
Right. Yeah. And because of that, it's a little hard to compare them. But I will say I was if I was disappointed with anything, which I guess we're starting out with that, I'm disappointed with very few things. But I do think the writing is probably not as strong as I'm used to with CD Projekt Red, just from this 50-minute thing. Mm-hmm. Just because a little bit, like, I feel like this leaned on tropes a lot more, just with either like,
right,
I don't know, you're like muscle beef head guy that's your partner, and you're just I don't know, it's hard to completely pinpoint. There's a lot of like cliches.
Yeah, I'm sure. Like I think like they kind of probably play into those cliches on purpose, and then I imagine in the full game, like you interact with these characters more, and you kind of get their nuance,
and it'll make more sense. Like those will,
I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't they say there was like the beginning of the game / close to the beginning of the game?
They said close.
Yeah.
Right.
But it was early in the game.
Yeah.
So like you're still getting to know these characters, and I'm sure after you've spent the ridiculous amount of time you're probably going to spend with them, it's going to get there. But also from just the branching dialogue and stuff, like The Witcher is probably, out of any game I've played, like the game that really fulfills that. You know, these quests can go any way. Your decisions matter. Every game says this, but The Witcher, it really was like you go do this random like even below a side quest that was like a monster hunting quest. So it's like this tiny little thing that's very, very optional and kind of like really small down. Do that, and suddenly like one of the main characters in the story died. Yeah. Or it's like you do that and like literally I would do like a monster contract, go to get my money for it, and the guy that I'm getting the money for it gets jumped by a bunch of bandits, and then that's a whole nother quest that it goes into like out of nowhere. And this seems like it's going right down that alley, and maybe even more so, because especially when they were talking about you go meet this lady, I heard there was someone else who like got to play some of it or saw some other slice where that girl the corpo agent they went to meet was not there. She was dead. Right. So it like went a completely different way. They were meeting with a different corpo agent. It was like there's a lot of different things there. Yeah. And so I mean, with that world and just how big it is and how populated it is, I feel like there's a chance that it could, you know, go even further than The Witcher as far as the expansiveness. Cool. But I guess I don't know what to talk about first. Just aesthetically, like the biggest thing that jumps out to me is just walking through the city and seeing like how many people there are. There's like someone buying vinyl records. There's people like with different stages of modifications. And like even there's, you know, the people you see at the end of the trailer where it's like, yeah, these are kind of the outcasts because they like really want to get rid of their humanity. They have like their faces carved out and have these like weird LED lights in it, and it's like, that's so cool to me
Mm-hmm.
to think of the different factions.
Is that what you're gonna be, Darby?
Yep. Get all my
Just
humanity out of here.
robot.
Just make me a robot.
Yeah. I like the setting, the style of it a lot, because it is, of course, classical cyberpunk, but it's not Blade Runner. It's not what you think immediately. I think when you think of cyberpunk, it's very sunny. It's very colorful. It's very SoCal, which I appreciate.
That's like, it looks like they're having fun. Like, it's messed up and a lot of messed up things are happening. But like you said, it's not this like dark droning thing. It's like you're running through the city, you're doing all this, and it has like the elements of Blade Runner, where it almost seems like the '80s vision of the future.
Yeah.
You know, where everything's like brightly colored. You have all these like crazy different like gadgets and everything.
Right.
But yeah, it's not as droning, and it kind of has its own feel to it.
Yeah, it's not like constantly raining and like your character's wearing a trench coat. Like they're this punk biker looking lady, dude, whatever.
You're whatever you want to be.
And the shaved head and all this,
I guess like it's not like noir. It's more like punk rock.
Yeah,
I like a lot.
It's like it's like not post-apocalyptic, but like future San Francisco or something.
Yeah.
That you're like running around in here. Jeff, what did you think about just the gameplay? As someone who's like didn't play Witcher, and like I don't even know where you're at in Cyberpunk hype. I honestly don't have a clue. What did this?
It looked really cool as far as like the gunplay and stuff goes. Since I don't play many shooters, I had trouble looking at it and comparing. It's like that all looks neat. I liked when her arms become like the little side things and.
Yeah.
They used to climb on walls and attack people.
You can get like a double jump and like a dash in this game, which is way cooler than like any first person whatever.
Well, and I feel like it could be a first person shooter that might speak to you more because like it's going to be going like they're not going to be afraid to get crazy with it, and like I don't think they're not going to be held down by like this always needs to be like aim down the sight shooter. It's going to be you're going to be wall running.
Yeah. And this is Cyberpunk, since it's mainly about the story. I'll be into it that way.
Yeah.
I don't mind gunplay, it's that other stuff surrounding gunplay doesn't appeal to me as much.
And that was one of my biggest things, because also The Witcher 3, like the combat in The Witcher 3 is not the best. It's okay.
That's what I've heard.
It's serviceable, but it's like the story is the biggest focus. And I was worried that was going to get lost a little bit, because I just feel like a first person shooter, the gameplay and the combat is just inherently
more important.
A lot more in the forefront, because like you're seeing through this and like you're shooting, and it's kind of part of the decision. So I was worried that story was going to get kind of sacrificed there.
Yeah.
But they still have like a dedicated quest department of people who just make awesome quests, like come up with ideas and are doing that. And I, especially after seeing this and just already in just this little 50-minute thing, you hear about the corpo agents and you hear about. They said, like, you can go get enhancements and you can get them from certain places and it's legal, like, above board, no one will say anything. But you get other ones, they're, like, illegal, like military-grade stuff that is a lot more powerful, but it's illegal, so you have to hide it and stuff. Yeah. There's just, like, so many, like, layers to all of this.
Yeah, and I like it because they stress with the body modifications that you're pretty much creating your gameplay, like, how you want to play. They had like guns that had tracking bullets, so you can just like spray bullets and kill people.
I like the ricochet.
Yeah, you can. Yeah,
that was so cool.
Yeah,
it was so cool.
Yeah, you can ricochet bullets. You can get arm sights and like all that sort of thing. Slow motion. Like it's really just up to you on like what playstyle you want.
It'd be dope if you can. Not to say I would do this if you could, but if you could do a build where it's mainly melee or. A lot more heavily melee.
I feel like I feel like they're gonna like have this very open. Like I think there's gonna be a lot of different things you can do with it.
Yep. I don't need this game to be necessarily hard in combat. I just need to feel like a badass and make it satisfying.
Yeah. And that's what The Witcher was to me. I mean, I think some people said that The Witcher 3 was hard. I just play a lot of those games like that. I mean, like Witcher 3 was mostly for me, like, I didn't even mess with a lot of the potions and oils and stuff you could do. I just dodged and attacked.
Yeah.
I think we
stabbed the monster.
So, yeah.
I think we people can kind of get our general feels about this, but since this was a very controversial thing in general, I guess we can kind of discuss it. I guess, how do you feel about it being first person in general after seeing it? Yeah. Do you feel like they were able to justify it with the gameplay, or do you think they haven't done that yet, or what?
No, I think definitely. I don't see based off of this demo, I don't see how this game could work
Yeah.
in third person.
Especially, like, you know, you get these enhancements and, like, the display changes. You get all these, like, new options and stuff. That would be very hard to communicate, and it would, or at least hard to communicate well if you were from third person.
No,
wouldn't...
Dari, Detective Vision.
I mean, like, I do feel like it would take away from this game. And it's something like you need to feel like you're in this body. Yeah. It's like, am I human? Am I, like, more robot? Like, what am I? Like, you really need to have that connection there. And in general, it's just like, if they feel like the best way to communicate a game is first person, I'm not going to argue with that, you know?
Yeah. Well, especially because with the genre of Cyberpunk, like, modifying your body and what makes you is such an important theme of that genre. So feeling that you are that person, you can see through their eyes, I think is incredibly important.
Yeah, I feel like I didn't care as much as most people as far as the third person thing. It's like it's not. I'm sure they'll justify it, but yeah, when they did that whole eye thing, it's like, okay, that immediately justifies it, and at the very least,
like, trust me, I love character creators. I spend a lot of time like creating my character,
and I will in this.
And I like seeing my character, but I mean, you see your character a lot in cutscenes, so I feel like you're not really losing too much by being in first person.
If Witcher 3 is any indication, there's going to be a lot of cutscenes, because I think there's just going to be a lot of story elements.
I'm trying to think. I know they show cutscenes where you saw the character, but even when you were talking to people, I saw some people were like, they want at the very least, like when you were talking to the CEO or whatever, agent lady, that they wanted to go third person or whatever. It's like, and they do that too much every time you talk to someone. That gets really jarring.
Yeah, but also you get the elements of, like, you walk up to the corporate agent, she says, like, all right, take care of her, and the guy, like, hits you over the head and you fall down. It's like you lose a lot of that just watching this third person, like, character fall down, you know.
Definitely.
I think it's super, super important in this game, even above a lot of other ones. There was a few things. There was one thing I kind of that just really stood out to me. I was talking to them about this yesterday, I think. I hate silent protagonists, especially, like, as we go on, as gaming matures. And I hate protagonists that just feel like an empty shell that like barely, they don't have a personality because you're supposed to, like, you know, project onto them or something. I hate that crap.
Yeah, I do too.
But at the same time, I love character creators. But, like, I think there's a good mix there, and I like that even though this is a character you're creating, they're not afraid to give them personality.
Very chatty.
Yeah. No, I like that they have a personality. Like, you created the character or whatever, but, like, no, her voice actress inflects and, like, has, like, she's, like, sassy to this person and aggressive. I like that, because I don't want them to be this just dull.
And correct me if I'm wrong, they didn't go over it in full detail, it just shows a brief thing, but was it when you were creating your character that you had, like, wasn't there some personality stuff you can do to?
I think there was. That might. You can. There's even, like, in the character creator thing. I don't know if they showed that there, but I saw it at E3 just from pictures. You could choose. There's, like, different backstories.
Yeah. They mentioned that in there.
Yeah,
based off of the pen and paper game.
Yeah, and there's even, like, there's a tragic event in their life. What was it? And there's, like, different ones you can pick and stuff. And I imagine they'll play with that in certain ways.
I'm sure. Yeah.
And they even have, like, who is your character's, like, childhood hero? And apparently they're all, like, characters from the original pen and paper RPG.
That's pretty neat.
And that's cool. It's like, and there's some, like, the different heroes were from different factions. Like, do they idolize this corpo person, or do they idolize this, like, rebellious, like...
Yeah, I much prefer that to either the silent, protagonist thing. If we're gonna do a creative character, do it that way.
And even if you have to just limit it to, like, I have these 3 or 4 options, you can play with that in a lot of different ways, and at least they're a character. You know, like, I want them to be a character.
Yeah, and, like, the voice actress for the female V, name of your main character, is Jeremy Lay, and so she voiced a character actually in Nier Automata. So she has history of being a very sassy.
Okay.
She does sassy well. So
sassy robot?
Yeah, I'm excited for that.
Yeah. And I like that. I kind of like the idea they're going for with character creator, like creating your stats too. They didn't really go into it, but they're like, yeah, you don't pick, like, a set job or something. It's kind of just intuitive. It's like you set what you want, and it's just kind of an open, fluid, like, creator, you know. I kind of like that, so you're don't have these, like, rigid lines that you have to go into. Trying to think of other things in there. There was a lot.
Yeah.
Because
very.
Oh, how cool was it whenever you're in the Ripper Doctor or whatever, and he takes the eye out, and then you see his eye
that's
from
pretty
like
cool.
the tray. That was pretty. Pretty great.
Obviously this game is going to be very graphic.
Yes.
There's going to be a lot of sex, a lot of violence. All
Sorry,
that,
Australians.
Sex,
comes
murder,
with,
money.
yeah, I mean, comes with the territory. Do you think this game might run into issues with rating boards, censorship? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Alana Pierce for a Funhouse now said, well, I guess this is banned in Australia.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a surefire bet. But yeah, me and you were having an interesting conversation about it's like, I don't know if this is exactly where you're going with it, but like, I wonder if CD Projekt Red had it their way, like, yeah, would this almost be like an AO rated game?
Yeah,
is what you were going.
I mean, because like full on nudity, like it's not in like a sexy pervert way, but just like thinking about the body and what that means in this futuristic setting where people are running around like with half robot parts, like.
Yeah.
It's an interesting concept to play with, and it'd be kind of disappointing if they had to scale that back for the sake of the ESRB or PEGI or the rating board in Japan.
Yeah, I would hope but as I was talking with you, I think you asked me, like, do you think this could be an AO rating? I think this is, like, way too big of a game. They would lose so many copies. Like, even if they felt like this is the way we could tell our artistic vision, they're never going to be able to do that.
Man, I'm not even sure what would make a difference or what it needs to happen. But, with difference between mature games and makes it to the AO thing.
I mean...
But I've even seen people talk about, like, I don't know what they were talking about from, but they... Like, I just, like, saw people talking about the game, and they were referencing some other book that was, like, about, like, androids and, like futuristic city and stuff. And they were talking about how they dealt with, like, reproductive issues.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Someone, like, they're too much machine now to even, like, give birth and stuff. Like, that's interesting things. Like, those are interesting topics.
Yeah. Well, and, like Manhunt 2, like, that was threatened with an AO rating in America for violence. So, it's not, there's not, like, there are hard rules, but it's also very nebulous depending on whoever is judging this game.
Yeah.
So it's just, again, this is a genre where it's very gritty, it's very dark, and I feel like, again, cutting stuff out would kind of lessen the impact of it in a way.
Yeah. It's something I could see that becoming a thing, or I could just see CD Projekt Red straight up saying, like, yeah, we wish we could do things. Because they're pretty, like, open about things.
Yeah, or, like, the PlayStation Xbox version is, like, censored, and they're like, if you want our vision of the game, just download it from our website.
I do imagine Australia is going to be a hard one, a hard nut to crack to get that one in Australia.
Let's go back to the eye thing real quick. I had an idea why we were talking. That could be cool. It's saying when they took the eye out, you could see. What if some missions use that to your advantage? Like you throw your eye and you're seeing or something, or attach it to something like a wire and you just like move it around, like through air vents and stuff.
That would be very interesting. Though I imagine you could probably just have like some drone or something that you just switch. Like,
my idea's cooler.
But that is, I do like your idea. But I also like that something I just didn't even think about is when they got in the car. It's like it's like, oh crap, this is like, I'm gonna be driving around this city, and there's gonna be like so many different areas.
I hope you can do the LA Noire thing where you tell your partner to drive. Cause driving in open world games is always a little finicky.
And you also have to like kind of suspend your disbelief a little bit when you just running over people.
I don't want that situation to happen.
Yeah.
Now, I guess one thing potentially, I'm hoping the whole people come in and attack you thing doesn't get too annoying.
Yeah.
Does it happen like frequently enough to where it's annoying?
Right.
You're just trying to drive around the city, have a good time, and you're getting shot at.
I wonder if it's like, because it's going to be a big world. I wonder if like, these districts, you'll be fine walking around.
I can imagine is that, and part of the maybe depending on how the story goes, influences like how much in certain parts there are and just how frequently in general you might get attacked.
This like X gang controls this area, so if you go there, you're gonna get attacked.
Or if you align with them, then they're all cool with you. Or something. If you or
if you get all those illegal enhancements, like police may attack you.
Yeah. No, I'm very interested to see like just elements like that where they talked about like there's the risk and reward. You can get these awesome enhancements, but if the right people find you, then
No.
you're gonna be in trouble.
Well, I'm okay with it being first person in general. I'm kind of happy. I'll see how it goes. You can do third person in the car, it looks like.
Yeah. First person driving is
Yeah.
always.
Yeah, it's not the best.
It's fun in Far Cry, but Far Cry is just goofy.
Right. Well, yeah, you can run over a guy in Far Cry and then jump out and it explodes, and it's not immersion breaking.
Yeah,
but here.
Perfectly fine. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like there's things that I want to talk about that I'm forgetting.
I also watched it a second time because I watched it when they did the live stream.
I've watched it like 1.5 times, and then I like skipped through it a little bit.
Do you think this game will be out on like current consoles?
They've said that's what they're going for. They said it is, or kind of to that effect. But I feel like it's at least going. I think it will at least launch on next gen, or you could do the thing where it's both.
Yeah, I could see it straddling it. Like, I still think it's going to be on PS4, but I would not be surprised if it ends up getting jumped. And it's one of those things that even if it comes out on PS4, I think it'll be somewhat of a Last of Us situation where it's like, okay, it's coming out at the end of this console, and we're gonna put it on the next one pretty soon. Like, it's gonna like jump over. But I just think it's been, I don't know, with how much we're seeing of it now, I don't think it's like any. I mean, who knows? I might be wrong, but I really, really think anyone who thinks this game's coming out in 2019 needs to maybe like
reconsider.
Like,
man, my mind is late 2020, probably at the earliest, maybe early if we're.
That's where I'm.
2020 at the earliest, yeah.
But
I'm pinpointing fall 2020 is where I like have.
And then if we're putting that as the earliest, that's probably when next gen consoles would come in. So, hey, that might be the kind of game that's like may push me to get it next gen early, because that's one.
Damn it!
Yeah.
I'm going to be playing Cyberpunk as soon as I possibly can. I can almost guarantee you.
I mean, and I think me and Darius kind of can't speak for Jacob necessarily, but us doing it sounds like we're more on board with potentially getting the next PS4, for instance, maybe sooner than we normally have.
Yeah, we're a lot more involved with the gaming than we were when the PS4.
Yeah, especially if there's some kind of big exclusive, or maybe even if Cyberpunk comes out around that time, and we just hear it runs so much better.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always sold on consoles when it's like the game that I want to play comes out, and that's what Cyberpunk would be.
Yeah. And I worry about, like, I remember I got Dragon Age Inquisition on the PS3. It was one of those that straddled the line, and the PS3 version was so much worse visually, and it crashed all the time. And it was
PS3 into
now imagine, since it looks like Xbox has the marketing stuff for Cyberpunk, if it is coming out on next gen and everything, Microsoft will be able to market their Scarlet with, hey, Cyberpunk, look how good it looks.
Yeah, that would be a pretty good selling point.
There's one thing I kind of want to mention, may not be much of anything.
Yeah, go for it.
I guess, how do you feel about CD Projekt Red's general marketing strategy with all of this? I know it kind of feels like they were kind of maybe pushed into showing this.
It definitely, like, at least what they said and what it seems like, I think they still were not planning on showing this now. It was kind of just E3, and then it happened again with Gamescom, where people are like, just let us see it, see it. We're tired of hearing press talk about it.
Yeah, we're talking about, like, oh, this is game of the show, and we're like, trailer is dope, that's all we have.
Yeah.
I do think this kind of shows, though, CD Projekt, like kind of, I don't know, like the personality of CD Projekt Red, that they were like, okay, we will listen to our fans. Like, we hear that you really want to see this, and we're gonna trust that you'll have the maturity or whatever to realize that this is not the final product or whatever.
Some people didn't.
And
a lot of people, don't understand that.
And a lot of people don't understand it. And I get, because they had to deal with the same thing with Witcher because they showed it so far in advance and stuff, and then it changed, and people were, up in arms.
Why does this look worse?
So, and I get it. I get why they're not eager to experience that again. And I don't even know if I would have, if I was like internally at CD Projekt Red, I don't know if I would have recommended showing this.
Yeah.
But it is a super fan forward move. They're like, okay, we know you want this. We're going to deal with the consequences, but it's like, for all of you who are mature enough to understand.
Yeah. I guess marketing strategy might be the wrong word, because wrong way to say it, because there's like, they're more like trying to listen to fans. It's more, do you think this worked out for CD Projekt Red? And what I mean by that is the fact, the whole thing of, we're hearing the press talk about it a lot, we want to see it. And then when they were teasing and showing it, Twitch had like 250,000 people watching this thing live. and that was just the talk of this week for the most part.
Yeah, it's hard to say if like this plan will work out for them in the long run, because I'm sure like once it gets closer to release date and they're gonna show off more of the game, people are like, oh, this is what was in the demo from 2018 is not in this.
The puddle
demo.
doesn't look as good.
Yeah, that's going to happen. I guarantee you.
Yeah,
it's just the way.
Actually, the fact that it's so early got me excited. It's like, this is what they have early on.
Yeah. No, I'm happy to because again, when I heard it was in first person, I was like, well, I'm not a big first person for games, but this, I'm like, that's fine. As we see it now,
I think it's the pros and cons of it, and I think that them and a lot of other developers are maybe starting to realize that, there's going to be some vocal people, but the vast majority of the people are just really want to play your game, and they want to see it.
And that's the case. Most of the people were positive. Yeah, there were a lot of people.
And there's going to be some dumb headlines, but, honestly, if I'm CD Projekt Red, I'm literally, I just dropped this thing in one day without even much preparation for it, and you had 200,000 people watching it live. It's people want.
Does it have 10+ million views now or something?
Something like that.
Sure.
It's people want your game. You're good, even if some people are stupid about it. And also I don't think it was intentional, but because of the way they did this, they basically got in the news headlines twice because they got around E3 with everyone talking about it, and then now again.
Yeah, it's kind of
It's they kind of got. Double them out there, and I just appreciate that this was we're going to show you 50 minutes of gameplay. This is not any dumb thing where we're trying to fancy it up or talk about it too much or whatever. Nope, we're gonna have a kind of intentionally boring
we're gonna have one of our developers narrate it.
Narrate it, and he's only a little bit. He's only
just gonna kind of explain the context, exactly what's going on.
But for the most part, it's here is just a chunk of the game, and it's not 5 minutes. It's not this edited thing. It's just 50 full minutes, and I love that. I kind of wish more games would just be boom, there.
Yeah, here's a random side quest.
Yeah,
I wish Red Dead would
might not even be in the game. I'd be fine with
and it makes you feel more like CD Projekt Red. They're people. There's we're working on this thing, and we just want to show you what.
We mentioned earlier, it's good also knowing that with seeing all stuff with the knowledge of people who saw it, they were they were able to prove they were playing it. They weren't just pretending to play it or showing a video like this. That this is the actual gameplay, but obviously they pre-recorded this one.
Right. Yeah. It's instantly probably one of my top 3, if not my number 1, the most anticipated game right now, just from potential.
Hey, when Health Cyberpunk's ranking is 2 of my most anticipated are coming this week. This is true.
Yeah. Any last things to get off your chest about Cyberpunk?
Nothing.
Let's just see next time we see it. I can imagine it could potentially be next E3, and that's fine because we're probably not going to get this game for a while.
Yeah.
And I don't think they need to show too much of it. I think you just showed an hour of it. I say, go away and just work on the game for a while.
Hey, that's more than most games we've... I mean, it's again in a joking way, but we've seen more of Cyberpunk than we have Red Dead, and that comes out in next month.
Yeah. But then, CD Projekt Red is a very different studio from Rockstar.
I know. I just find it funny.
And if Red Dead was an entirely new thing, we would have seen a lot more of it. But it's just Red Dead's kind of GTA game, or Rockstar games, or at least GTA and Red Dead games in general, kind of like Beyonce. They can just drop the album with no fanfare and still sell a lot.
Yeah, and literally Rockstar Studios thinks that they are actual rock stars. Yeah, so that's how they act.
Yep.
For better or for worse.
Yep. Alrighty. Well, we'll see you guys again next week. Check out except for Jeff. He's gone for good.
I'll be back with Dragon Quest and Spider-Man impressions, though.
There you go.
Nope, he's never coming back.
You're right.
Check out our Pokemon Emerald Nuzlocke that goes up every week. Forgot what happened last one. We fought Team Magma, I think. We need to record a way out Spoilercast soon.
Oh, yeah. That was the thing. Yeah, I'm planning on doing.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.